Welcome to Heidi Relationships. Today, we'll read some more stories from Reddit. But before we start, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. That would help the channel a lot. Thank you very much in advance. The first one is titled, "My girlfriend brought her parents on our anniversary trip. I canceled everything. I'm still trying to process everything that happened. I never thought I'd be in this situation, but here we are. You know how it is. When you're in a relationship, sometimes you excuse things you shouldn't. I'm Evan, 31M, and up until recently, I was dating Zara, 28F, for years. The first real warning sign came about 8 months into our relationship, though at the time I brushed it off as a one-time thing. It was my 30th birthday, and I'd planned an intimate dinner at this upscale steakhouse downtown. It was pretty expensive, but I figured turning 30 was worth celebrating in style. I'd made reservations for just Zara and me, planning to have a romantic evening together. The day before my birthday, Zara called me sounding excited. "Evan, guess what? I told my parents about dinner tomorrow and they'd love to join us. They're driving up from their house tomorrow afternoon." I remember feeling my stomach drop. "Wait, what? You invited your parents to my birthday dinner?" "Yeah, Dad loves a good steak and they really want to celebrate with you. They see you as part of the family now." I tried to explain that I'd planned for a romantic dinner for two, but Zara just didn't get it. "But it's a celebration. The more people to celebrate with, the better, right? Plus, they're already on their way." What could I do? Cancel on her parents who were driving 3 hours to join us? I gave in, and instead of a romantic evening, I spent my 30th birthday making small talk with Zara's parents, while her dad complained about the wine prices and her mom spent the entire time showing us pictures of Zara's cousin's new baby. When I tried to talk to Zara about it later, she just said, "I don't see why you're making such a big deal about it. They were just trying to be nice." I should have recognized this as a red flag, but I convinced myself it was just Zara being close with her family. Sweet, even, if a bit misguided. Then came the cabin incident. About 4 months before the Mexico disaster, I'd won a weekend stay at this luxury cabin through a work raffle. It had this amazing hot tub on the deck overlooking the mountains, and I planned a surprise weekend getaway for just us. The morning we were supposed to leave, Zara texted me, "Dad's so excited about the fishing at the lake. Mom's packed her famous potato salad for everyone." I called her immediately. "Zara, what do you mean? Who's everyone?" "Oh, I told my parents about the cabin, and they thought it would be perfect for a family weekend. They're meeting us there. Dad even brought his boat." Once again, she'd invited her parents without asking me. Once again, she couldn't understand why I was upset. "The cabin has 2 bedrooms," she said. "It's perfect. And Dad's letting us use his boat. That's so nice of him." I ended up giving some excuse about coming down with food poisoning and canceled the trip entirely. Zara was disappointed, but I just couldn't face another supposedly romantic getaway turned family vacation. "You really hurt their feelings," she told me later. "They were looking forward to some family bonding time." I should have ended it then. These weren't just isolated incidents. They were a pattern showing fundamental differences in how we viewed boundaries and relationships. But I kept making excuses, telling myself that she was just close to her family, that it was actually kind of sweet how much she wanted to include them in everything. Then, for our 2-year anniversary, I planned something special. I spent months organizing a romantic week-long trip to a beautiful beach resort in Mexico. I'm talking private villa, couples massages, sunset sailing, the works. Zara had always talked about wanting to visit Mexico, and I thought this would be perfect for our anniversary. I put a lot of thought into every detail. I even learned some basic Spanish to help us get around. The villa I booked had this amazing private pool overlooking the ocean, and I arranged for a private chef to cook us dinner one night. It wasn't cheap, but I figured our 2-year anniversary was worth splurging on. When I told Zara about the trip, she was thrilled. "Evan, this is incredible," she exclaimed, hugging me tight. "I can't believe you planned all this." We spent the next few months looking forward to the trip, discussing what activities we wanted to do, restaurants we wanted to try. Zara seemed just as excited as I was. Then, 2 weeks before the trip, everything went sideways. I was at Zara's place, going over some final details for the trip, when she casually dropped a bomb on me. "Oh, by the way," she said, not even looking up from her phone, "I hope you don't mind, but I told my parents about the trip, and they thought it sounded amazing, so they're coming too. They already booked their flights." I stared at her, waiting for the punchline. It didn't come. "You're joking, right?" I asked. She looked up, confused. "No, why would I be joking? They haven't had a vacation in ages, and Mom's always wanted to see Mexico." "Zara, this is our anniversary trip. I planned it for us, not for a family vacation. I know, but we can still do romantic stuff. Mom and Dad won't mind if we want alone time sometimes. I felt like I was taking crazy pills. Sometimes, Zara, I booked a romantic villa for 2 people. Where exactly are your parents planning to stay? Oh, I already called the resort and changed our booking to a 2-bedroom villa, she said cheerfully. It was a bit more expensive, but my parents are covering the difference. I sat there completely stunned. She had changed our romantic villa booking without even asking me. The private, intimate getaway I'd planned was being transformed into a family vacation, and she didn't even seem to understand why that might be a problem. Let me get this straight, I said slowly. You invited your parents on our anniversary trip, changed our accommodations, and didn't think to discuss any of this with me first? I didn't think you'd mind. You like my parents. That's not the point. This was supposed to be our special time together. I planned everything specifically for us. The private chef dinner, the couples massage, the sunset sailing. What about those? We can still do those things. Mom and Dad can find other activities while we have our romantic moments. I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. Zara, would you want my parents coming along if you had planned a romantic getaway for us? That's different, she said dismissively. Your parents live close by. Mine are in another state, so we don't get to see them as much. How is that relevant? This is our anniversary trip. You're making too big a deal out of this, she said, starting to sound annoyed. It'll be fun. Dad's really excited about the fishing trips, and Mom's already researching local cooking classes. That's when it hit me. She had absolutely no intention of changing her mind about this. In her world, there was nothing wrong with turning our romantic anniversary celebration into a family vacation. I stood up. I need some time to think about this. Think about what? Everything's already arranged. That's exactly the problem, I said, grabbing my jacket. You arranged everything without even considering how I might feel about it. I went home and spent the next few hours going over everything in my head. This wasn't just about the trip anymore. It was about respect, boundaries, and different expectations of what a relationship should be. The next morning, I called the resort and canceled everything. When Zara found out, she was furious. She showed up at my apartment that evening, practically spitting fire. How could you cancel everything without talking to me first? She demanded. The irony of her statement was apparently lost on her. You mean like how you changed all our plans without talking to me first? I countered. That's different. I was making it better. Better for who, Zara? Because it certainly wasn't better for me. You're being selfish, she accused. My parents were really looking forward to this trip. This was supposed to be our anniversary celebration, a romantic getaway for just us. The fact that you don't understand why inviting your parents along might be a problem is actually helping me see some things more clearly. What's that supposed to mean? I sat down, suddenly feeling very tired. It means I'm realizing we might have very different ideas about boundaries and what a relationship should look like. Oh my God, you're being so dramatic. It's just a vacation. No, it's not just a vacation. It's about respect and consideration. You made major changes to plans I made for us without even discussing it with me. You didn't even ask if I'd be okay with your parents coming along. You just decided it was happening and expected me to go along with it. Because I knew you'd say no if I asked, and that didn't tell you anything? The fact that you knew I wouldn't want this but did it anyway? She crossed her arms. Fine, cancel the trip. But you're the one who has to tell my parents why their vacation is ruined. Actually, I don't. You invited them without consulting me so you can deal with the fallout. That night, my phone blew up with messages from Zara's family. Her mother sent several long texts about how disappointed they were and how they'd already taken time off work. Her father called twice, leaving voicemails about how unreasonable I was being. Even her sister got involved, posting passive-aggressive comments on social media about selfish men who can't compromise. I didn't respond to any of them. Instead, I spent the next few days really thinking about my relationship with Zara. This incident had revealed some fundamental differences in how we viewed boundaries and respect in a relationship. The final straw came when Zara's mother showed up at my workplace. I was in the middle of a coding session when my coworker messaged me. There's some lady in the lobby insisting on seeing you. Says she's your girlfriend's mom? I went down to find Zara's mother standing there with that particular expression that meant she was prepared to make a scene if necessary. Evan, she said as soon as she saw me, we need to talk about this vacation situation. Excuse me, I'm at work right now. Well, you haven't been answering our calls, so what choice did I have? The choice to respect boundaries, I suggested. Like not showing up at someone's workplace unannounced? Don't take that tone with me, young man. Do you have any idea how much money we lost on those plane tickets? Money you spent without checking with me first for a trip you invited yourselves on without asking. I'm sorry, but that's not my responsibility. Zara told us you'd be happy to have us along. She said you love spending time with family. I do love spending time with family when it's appropriate. This was supposed to be an anniversary trip, a romantic vacation for just Zara and me. Well, there's nothing wrong with making it a family trip instead. Family should come first. And there it was, the core of the problem. In their world, family always came first, even if it meant completely disregarding other people's boundaries or wishes. I'm sorry, I said firmly. I'm at work right now. I need to get back to my team. Any issues you have with the vacation should be discussed with Zara since she's the one who invited you without consulting me. We're not done discussing this, she warned as I turned to leave. Actually, we are. That evening, I asked Zara to come over. We needed to have a serious conversation. Your mother showed up at my workplace today, I said once she was seated. I know, she replied. She told me. She was just trying to fix things. Fix things? Zara, she came to my place of work to confront me about a personal matter. How is that okay? She's just upset. We all are. You ruined everyone's vacation plans. No, you ruined our anniversary plans by inviting your parents without asking me. And now you're trying to make me the bad guy for not wanting my romantic getaway turned into a family vacation. Why are you being so stubborn about this? What's wrong with wanting to include family? I looked at her for a long moment. Nothing's wrong with wanting to include family when it's appropriate. But this was supposed to be our special time together. The fact that you can't understand why I might not want your parents along on our anniversary trip, that you went behind my back to change everything, and that you still don't see anything wrong with any of this. It's showing me that we have very different ideas about boundaries and respect in a relationship. What are you saying? I'm saying I think we should take a break, maybe permanently. Her eyes widened. You're breaking up with me? Over a vacation? No, I'm breaking up with you because this situation has made me realize we're not compatible. You don't respect my boundaries, you make unilateral decisions about things that should be discussed together, and when I express concerns about any of this, you dismiss them and try to make me feel unreasonable. But I love you, she protested, starting to cry. I care about you too, I said gently, but love isn't enough if there's no respect or consideration. The breakup was messy. Zara's family launched a full-scale social media campaign painting me as the villain who broke their daughter's heart over a simple misunderstanding. Some mutual friends took sides. It was exhausting. But you know what? As difficult as it was, I knew I'd made the right decision. The whole situation had revealed fundamental incompatibilities that would have caused problems throughout our relationship. 6 months later, I ran into Zara at a nearby mall. She was civil, but distant. You know, she said as she was leaving, I still think you overreacted about the vacation, but I get it now, about the boundaries thing. I'm in therapy, working on some stuff. I'm glad, I said sincerely. I hope it helps. After she left, I thought about how different things might have been if she'd had those insights earlier, but sometimes it takes losing something to understand why you lost it. As for me, I'm dating someone new now. On our third date, she told me about how she once had to set firm boundaries with her family when they tried to insert themselves into every aspect of her life. It was like music to my ears. Last week, her parents invited us both to their lake house for a weekend. She turned to me and said, I'll tell them we'll think about it and get back to them. We should discuss it first and make sure we're both comfortable with the idea. That's when I knew, this one gets it. Looking back at the whole Mexico trip fiasco, I'm actually grateful it happened. Yes, I lost the money I'd spent on deposits. The resort was understanding but could only refund part of it. And yes, the breakup was painful. But it showed me something important about compatibility and respect in relationships. Sometimes the hardest decisions are the right ones. And sometimes what seems like a ruined vacation can actually be a blessing in disguise, showing you exactly what you don't want in a relationship and helping you recognize what you do want when it finally comes along. For anyone facing a similar situation, whether it's about vacation plans or any other boundary issues, remember that it's okay to stand firm on your principles. If someone doesn't respect your boundaries or dismisses your feelings as unreasonable, that's a red flag worth paying attention to. And if their mother shows up at your workplace to argue about it, well, that's probably a sign you made the right decision. The funny thing is, I did end up going to Mexico eventually. with my new girlfriend 6 months after we started dating. We had an amazing time, just the two of us, no surprise family members included. And when we told her parents about the trip afterward, they just said, "We hope you took lots of pictures to show us." That's what healthy boundaries look like. The whole experience taught me that while compromise is important in relationships, some things shouldn't be compromised, like respect for each other's boundaries and the need to make important decisions together. Sometimes standing firm on these principles means being painted as the bad guy, but that's better than spending your life with someone who doesn't respect your boundaries or understand why they matter. As for Zara, last I heard, she's still working on her boundary issues in therapy. I wish her well and hope she finds what she's looking for. Sometimes it takes losing something important to realize what went wrong and why. But I'm grateful for the lesson, even if it came at the cost of a ruined vacation and a broken relationship, because now I know exactly what I want and don't want in a partner. And that knowledge, it's worth way more than any luxury resort booking. The experience also helped me develop better communication skills in my new relationship. Now, whenever any plans involve family, even something as simple as dinner, we discuss it together first. We make decisions as a team, respecting each other's comfort levels and boundaries. That's what a healthy relationship looks like. And I wouldn't have recognized it so clearly if I hadn't gone through the Mexico trip disaster first. So here's to ruined vacations that lead to better understanding and to partners who get why you might not want their parents along on your anniversary trip. Sometimes the best trips are the ones that never happen because they lead you somewhere better in the end. Here are my thoughts about the story. The way Zara just casually dropped, "Oh, by the way, my parents are coming on our romantic vacation," is really getting me. Thank God the relationship got dropped because what? Just what? And can we talk about those earlier red flags? The 30th birthday dinner situation had me almost screaming at my screen. Imagine showing up to what's supposed to be a romantic birthday dinner and suddenly you're stuck looking at baby pictures while dad complains about wine prices. I would have taken myself right out of that restaurant. And the cabin incident? Oh my God, the audacity of this girl. Dad's so excited about the fishing. Girl, it wasn't his trip to be excited about. The fact that she kept doing this repeatedly shows it wasn't just poor judgment. It was a straight-up pattern of boundary stomping. What really got me, though, was Zara's mom showing up at my man's workplace. The sheer entitlement. Like, who does that? Actually, you know what? I know exactly who does that. The same type of parent who raises a daughter who thinks it's totally normal to ambush her boyfriend with surprise family vacations. But here's what really killed me. When Zara said, "I knew you'd say no if I asked." Girl. If you already know someone would say no to something and you do it anyway, you're not surprising them, you're manipulating them. That's not cute. It's not sweet. It's not family-oriented. It's straight up disrespectful. The more I think about it, the more I realize this story isn't really about the vacation at all. It's about how some families just never cut the cord, you know? Like Zara and her parents are so enmeshed, they can't even comprehend why someone wouldn't want mom and dad tagging along on a romantic anniversary trip. That's not healthy family closeness. That's some weird codependency stuff right there. And can we appreciate how Evan handled it? My guy didn't just get mad. He sat down and really thought about what this meant for their relationship. He recognized it wasn't just about the trip. It was about respect, boundaries, and different values. That's some emotional intelligence right there. The ending actually made me so happy. When he mentioned his new girlfriend saying, "We should discuss it first and make sure we're both comfortable." That's how it's done and should be done, people. That's what healthy boundaries look like. But you know what really gets me? The fact that Zara's family went on social media calling Evan the villain. Like, imagine thinking someone is selfish because they don't want their in-laws crashing their romantic anniversary vacation. The mental gymnastics these people must do to justify their behavior is Olympic level. At least Zara finally got some insight in the end, even if it was too late for their relationship. Sometimes you really do need to lose something to understand why you lost it. But man, imagine how different things could have been if she just, I don't know, asked her boyfriend before inviting her parents on their romantic trips. But seriously, guys, if you're dating someone and they pull something like this, run. Run fast, run far, because it doesn't get better unless they really want to change. And based on those previous incidents, Zara had absolutely zero interest in changing until she lost her relationship over it. But anyways, guys, with this, we've reached the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and like the video/comment if you enjoyed it. I'll see you again tomorrow.